What is up? I am TJ. This is Uncommon, and so are you. Hey guys, welcome to this week's session of Uncommon Live. It is July 29th. I cannot believe it is almost August. Goodness. Welcome to this session. If you're new to our program, we step in here every Thursday about 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And we focus on topics around men. And so our goal is to encourage men to be the husband, dad, and leader they were always meant to be. And so before we get going, be sure to hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel and also the notification button. So when we go live, you get notified. And so this week, we're talking about all gas, no brake. Now, that has come to mean a few different things, but for our purposes, we're focusing on running with perseverance. So, we've all probably seen the movie Forrest Gump, and even probably haven't quoted the "Run, Forrest, Run" a time or two. And if you've not seen the movie, I would do yourself a favor and go watch it. You will definitely enjoy it. Tom Hanks at his finest. But if you have, then you know that once Forrest started running, he did so for quite some time. And thanks to the power of the internet, I was able to do one quick search, and of course, this stat was the first thing up there. So he ran for, you ready for it? 3 years, 2 months, 14 days, and 16 hours. The power of the internet in useless facts, right? 3 years, 2 months, 14 days, and 16 hours. Now, obviously, he did not run continually. He obviously stopped to eat, to sleep, bathroom, all the things that go along with everyday life. But he kept running when he had the time. And so if you're like me, you may hear that number and you just like roll your eyes or make a face. Like, who in the world would do that? Because if you know me, if you see me running, you better start running too, because something's chasing me. I do not run for recreation. I do not run for exercise. I do other activities for that. Running is not one of them. But there is something to be learned from that movie scene, and that would be perseverance. Something our society seems to be lacking today. And so I watched a video of a girl asking an influencer if she was lazy by wanting to stop what she had been doing for the last 18 months. I guess she was running this business or doing this side hustle, which is obviously the battle cry for today's world, side hustle, for the last 18 months. And the influencer said, "Hell no, that may be as far as you can go. Quit and try something new. You can always go back and find another job." And you could tell that this girl was having second thoughts, because she asked again, even after that, "Are you sure I'm not being lazy?" Now I'm checking my chat over here. My wife telling me, he's telling you all the truth. He doesn't run unless absolutely necessary. Yes, exactly. In the Bible, Jesus walked everywhere. I do not remember hearing about him running. So that's all I'm saying. I'm trying to be holy. So now there are situations that you may be that is not long-term. It's a bad situation, your job, it's not your passion. I get that. But what I'm seeing of today's kind of culture is short-term commitments, because they don't feel like they're doing what they're supposed to be. You got to be careful with those feelings. They can get you in a lot of trouble. What happens when you tie yourself to those feelings, recognition, popularity, all those followers on the gram or TikTok, you tie yourself to the money or to the endeavor, is you tend to not finish what you start. And so I have a friend who's been trying to fill a position at his company, which has fantastic benefits, fantastic pay. And a person who applied for the job had 8 jobs over 10 years. And while there may be legitimate reasons for some of those, it's hard to hire a person like that because all you do is leave or quit. And so it got me thinking about the term all gas, no brakes. We tend to be a society of starting things, but not finishing things. And so, when someone says, what do you do for a living? You say, okay, well, I cut lawns. So which is side hustle? It's like, okay, I didn't know I needed a side hustle, but okay, yeah, I have a side hustle. I do something on Etsy. Do you have more than one side hustle? And so you could see that people love starting things, the possibilities. There's hope around that. There's new beginnings. But then things may get a little tough. And I could tell you as an entrepreneur, some of you know that I own a creative agency as well as I run Uncommon. There are ups and downs. That's just the nature of business. And even with Uncommon, during the summertime, it is incredibly slow in some of the summer months. And then when you add on this summer, people taking their revenge vacations that they couldn't last year, it takes people out of their normal routine. And so they're going to have ups and downs at your job or your marriage, relationships in general. And so all gas, no brakes. It's come to mean a few things, but we're using it to describe those who start things but never finish them. So just like social media has created a culture that takes content in bite-sized amounts, we've also shortened our attention span. And so the side hustle came along and fueled that attention span to a point that if a person can't grow a social media channel to 1 million followers or a 6-figure a month income, they may need to find a different side hustle to fulfill their life. Just because there's an influencer telling you how easy it is to make 6 figures every month selling these t-shirts that are so common and bland, do not believe them in that process. And so one of the things that you can do is, obviously, if you're not satisfied in your job, is find another job if you don't like the one you have. Sounds kind of easy, especially in today's market where jobs are plentiful. But then again, you may need to stick with your job even when you don't want to, because again, it's tied to our feelings. There are times when I don't feel like waking up and going to work. My wife just bought a rower for me about a month and a half ago. I've been loving it, but there are some mornings that I don't feel like going to row and do cardio for 30 minutes a day. So I got to push myself out of the bed early in the morning to go do that before work. That's just the nature of the business. Sometimes we have to persevere. And so I'm going to give you a few different scriptures, and I'll put the rest of them in the description of the video. And so Philippians 1:6, I am sure of this, that he began the good work in you will bring it to completion at that day of Jesus Christ. Let's see, let's pick up some ones that really hit home today. Count it all joy, my brothers, James 1:2-4. When you meet trials of various kinds, for you know that the testing of your faith produces steadfastness. And let steadfastness have its full effect, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. Let's see, there's another one here. James 1:12, blessed is the man who remains steadfast under trial, for when he has stood the test, he will receive the crown of life, which God has promised to those who love him. In Galatians 6:9, let us not grow weary of doing good, for the due season we will reap if we do not give up. And the last one I'll read to you is 2 Thessalonians 3:13. As for you, brothers, do not grow weary of doing good. And I'll post the rest in the description. So you can see the Bible is loaded with references about keeping with the run, right? Run with perseverance, Paul said. And so the truth is, this is why it's so important to be praying to God for wisdom and listening to the Holy Spirit as he guides us, as God may have us in a place, an uncomfortable place, a place that we may not like, that we're not appreciated, we're not getting the praise and the glory and recognition that we'd like, even though we need to be there. And so Hebrews 12:1-3, therefore, since we are surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of faith. By joy set before him, he endures the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God, considering him who endured such opposition for sinners, so that you will not grow weary and lose heart. Right on. Jesus showed perseverance. The challenge is, before we hit the gas onto our next stop for another side hustle, another job, that other thing, relationship, endeavor, whatever it is, let's hit the brakes for a minute and seek God's will about our situation. You and I might be right where we need to be. So, thank you for joining us today. I pray this has been a blessing to someone who needs to hear it. And with that being said, since you're going to be something, be uncommon.